Okay. Welcome, Dr. Prashanthi, to another episode of our Twisting Memoirs Publications fourth anniversary podcast series. We are currently in preparation stages of preparing for our upcoming event for Twisting Memoirs Publication celebrating fourth year, and we are delighted to bring you to this platform, and we are honored to have you on this journey and on today's podcast with us. I am working as a journal manager at Twisting Memoirs Publication and currently communicating with authors, reviewers, and editorial board members. And Dr. Prashanti, you are currently editor-in-chief of TMP Universal Journal of Research and Review Archives, and one of our five journals under Twisting Memoirs Publication. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It's truly a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you for having me
Yeah,
and
thank
inviting me for this
Yeah. So could you
TMP's fourth
please
episode.
could you please introduce yourself to the audience and taking us through your academic journey?
Myself, I'm Dr. Prasanthi from GITAM School of Pharmacy, GITAM deemed to be University Visakhapatnam. I must say my academic journey, it is mainly shaped by curiosity between health-related problems, medical-related problems. It's all about the pharmaceutical sciences. So that created my commitment into pharmacy. So I completed my graduation from Padmati University, Tirupati, followed by post-graduation from Andhra University in pharmaceutical technology. So they have laid a very strong foundation in my formulation science of pharmacy. So that became my passion, and that was my research identity, formulation scientist. So then thank you. Then I moved on to do my PhD with the UGC Junior Research Fellowship. My doctoral studies are also done at Andhra University. My PhD was basically focused on anti-tubercular drugs. So this work had not only earned me the best PhD thesis gold medal, Sri J.J. Rao best PhD thesis gold medal, but I also earned the Professor M.L. Khurana Best Research Paper Award. So it actually ignited my deep interest into these novel drug delivery systems. So that actually provoked me to pursue my postdoctoral studies also after my doctorate. So I was fortunate to receive a CSAR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, postdoctoral research associateship. So this enabled me to deepen much more my expertise in the drug delivery, formulation development, and validation. This period was absolutely transformative because it taught me what is the actual rigor of research, the importance of building a very robust methodology, and the value of a good mentorship is really very, very important. So throughout my career, this spanning around 14 years, I have worn multiple hats, but beyond these numbers, basically what truly drives me is the impact. I learned that research is not a solitary endeavor. It is a collaborative ecosystem where we need to have the knowledge flowing in multiple directions, not a single effort. And for that, a true mentor is always the utmost importance. Later, after different industry working or academic teaching professional working, multiple number of authorships I have done. I have published around 25 research papers, around 5 books, one editor of the book. And then I started rethinking about myself. As a reviewer journey also I started with the TMP. I associated with the editor-in-chief as the UJRRA journal. So that was my journey.
Great, man. Actually, we are very honored to have you as our EBM and editor-in-chief for UJRRA because it's our currently journal receiving great responses from all the authors around the world. Yeah, you are like a very crucial part of it currently. So thank you, Dr. Prashanthi, for sharing your journey with us. It's always inspiring to hear how different experiences shape academicians and researchers' path. And so my second question for this session would be like, as a researcher, we all know that publication comes with its own set of challenges and a lot of different learning experiences. So if you can look back, is there any one particular experience or lesson from your publication journey that has had lasting impact on your own academic or professional career?
Yes, definitely. Actually, there are many experiences, but if I had to single one experience, so it would be always my first rejection.
Mm-hmm.
where my paper has got rejected when I sent it to a very high impact factor journal. So early in my research career, I thought that it was an excellent manuscript. I submitted it to a very high impact factor journal. So I actually conducted very rigorous research. The data were all solid. I was confident that the scientific merit of it would be very high impact. But the rejection, it came as a shock for
Mm-hmm.
me. So, but I took it positively. I looked into the reviewer comments. They were incredibly detailed. So I just looked into the constructive manner. I reviewed myself instead of being just discouraged. I thought that feedback as a gift. I inculcated it to improve upon my basic research towards applied research, not just fundamental aspects, digging deep into the research. So that actually later I published another two major SCI publications, indexed journals. So that shaped me and actually drove me in getting many of the funded research projects. So, but the real lesson was much deeper. Uh, I learned that the scientific writing is just an art form. It's one of the art. It requires not just only the accurate data, high research. So it requires a very good, compelling narration is
Right.
actually required. So that demands that you anticipate the questions, address whatever the limitations that are there in your research transparently. That's more important. So, and you need to present your work not only to a regional area. So it must be speaking, your work must be speaking up to a very global audience of the scientists. So this experience has directly influenced how now I mentor my own students. So
Mm-hmm.
as I reviewed more and more papers, I actually realized that the good research gets often lost without a right platform. We need to choose a right journal for actually getting published it. So that's when I moved on, being just an author to an editor. So this helps me navigate the process, what I actually struggled in during my early career research.
Right, right, right. Right. It's actually that's very wonderful insight, madam. I think like experiences like this remind us that each and every challenge that comes across our journey, like it ultimately contributes to our growth overall. And like the most important thing out of your response I come across is the research is like an art, and we academicians are artists of our disciplines. So that is like very striking point that you have mentioned here. Uh,
Yes.
so you have been associated with Twisting Memoirs publication for quite some time. So not only as a contributor, but also as
Yes.
editor-in-chief of UJRRA journal. So from your perspective, like how has your experience been with TMP, and what do you think like makes TMP a supportive platform for researchers and academic community?
Actually, my journey started the last 2 years back. So it started with a very simple goal, to make a very high, good quality, impactful research to be
Hmm.
accessible to each and everyone, especially the young scholars. They require a very genuine platform. So,
Hmm.
nowadays, many of the fake journals have been coming up. Okay, so
Right.
we need to provide a very good platform which is true and genuine. And of course, watching the TMP growing over a vast community over 4 years has been deeply fulfilling. Uh, uh, Actually, being the editor-in-chief of the UJRRA TMP journal uh, is what uh, drew me. The intent is that the twisting the rigor memo of the academic publication into something more inclusive. So they started with actually one issue per year. Now they are actually doing around, I think, quarterlies per year.
Right. Hmm.
So we have now almost authors from across the globe, around 12 different countries. We moved up on from around 20 to 200 plus submissions per year.
Right.
So in this era of actually the predatory journals, publishing is of very utmost concern. So TMP stands out of all those. It's a very good platform where you can trust both as an author as well as the reader. So it provides you a very good platform to uh, amplify your voice, to publish or validate your contributions, whatever you have done with your research. To help you establish yourself as a very good researcher, you can use this platform. Yeah, you can submit your best work. You can also engage with as a reviewer process. Also, you can go through not only as an author. So
Hmm.
basically, building your publication not just for metrics, but for a genuine satisfaction of knowing that your research is contributing to the human knowledge. So that's the ultimate outcome, to for the betterment of the health outcomes and the society is what really matters.
Right, that's true, Dr. Prashanti. And thank you so much for those encouraging words for TMP and your association with it. It truly means a lot coming from someone who has closely worked with the journals and witnessed its journey. So
Yes.
thank you so much. Yeah. So my next question to you is like, we have seen that many students and early career researchers aspire to publish their work, but they often feel uncertain and unsure about where to begin.
Right.
So, right. So, and this is also my personal experience within the social sciences research as well. So, when I started out, so based on your experience as both as a researcher as well as an editor, so what advice would you like to share with those who are preparing to publish their very first research paper?
This is a question actually my own students frequently ask me as well. So I tell
Right.
them this repeatedly. See, doing the experiment is just half of the journey, right? Publishing your experiment, publishing your research, publishing your findings is how you're going to contribute to the global scientific knowledge, right? So when I'm writing a manuscript, I often put
Mm,
myself in the reviewer shoes. I think of what gaps might they will be seeing, what criticism,
mm,
comments, what are the limitations of my work that might be arising. So this all I frequently address myself, question myself. Okay, so by
mm,
thinking about this proactively, you can address concern in your manuscript so that you can be having a very good, smooth peer review process. So as you said, for early career researchers, usually a solid meta journal will be a good research in your field is often better rather than targeting a very high impact journal, right?
true.
You can always aim higher with your second or third paper once you have successfully navigated through a first publication process. So
Yeah.
your first paper obviously will not be perfect. Mine was not perfect, but each paper, it teaches you something new about how to communicate your science,
Mm,
your work, how to structure whatever your complex insights, ideas, how to navigate with the scientific community, with different communities. So you should be
right.
embracing this learning curve. You should be improving upon.
Mm,
If I could tell these young researchers one thing, it would be a publication is the end goal. Contributing is the actually conversation. So I'm proud to say that my scholars, my mentees who embrace this philosophy have gone to publish in some of the world's most prestigious peer-reviewed pharmaceutical journals. So it's always the matter of not just publishing, but communicating what your work to the scientific community.
correct. Correct. That's very valid response that you have provided, and like one of the most important um, thing that come out of this early career researcher or a first time author should put himself in the place of reviewer while reviewing his own manuscript or writing his own paper. So that is, and also second important thing that I feel is instead of just writing and completing the research paper, we should focus more on the overall contribution towards the knowledge and the scientific community it has, because it will be referred like in coming 10 to 20 years down the line if you have very strong scientific foundation to it. So thank you so much for these insights, Dr. Prashanti. So my last question for this podcast session to you is like, as we are currently celebrating TMP's fourth anniversary, so we'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, do you have a message or any best wishes for entire TMP team and our growing community of authors, reviewers, editors, or the researchers?
Yes, first of all, thank you to the Twisting Memoirs Publications entire team, for creating such a wonderful platform. I congratulate all of you, the entire team, on your 4 years of anniversary. You put in for the dedicated service to the research community, bringing all of us together on a wonderful platform. So I want to acknowledge the vision, especially what guides the TMP. So in this era where metrics and volumes are increasingly driving publishing, TMP is maintaining its focus on quality, good quality research support, and advancement of genuine scientific knowledge. So that is not really easy. So looking forward, I wish TMP that you continue to grow, not necessarily in volume and impact, but but in impact. I hope that TMP will continue to evolve with time, flourish as a very high impact peer reviewed journal. Last time we were discussing about publishing a special issue or thematic special issues. So more focusing on open access publishing, preprint servers, connecting with interdisciplinary collaborative research. So, this is actually expanding. We need to expand our indexing in various Scopus, Sci-Hub, Science Direct, and SEI, right?
Right.
So the landscape is evolving, it is changing. So
Hmm.
we need to choose these platforms for our publications, the journals which are genuinely supporting the research development. So this is a right platform, TMP, of course, to transform your career, publish your research works. So I
Right.
request every researcher to publish with the TMP, where you feel supported, valued, and inspired to advance in their scientific journey. So to every author, to every reviewer, to every reader who are actually trusting the TMP, this anniversary is actually yours. So here's to more honest and impactful research. And thank you all for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful journey celebrations. And here's the next chapter of the Twisting Memoirs publication to go. Truly, this was very inspiring. I am sure that they are going to be very helpful for the young researchers. Thank you so much once again, Prasanthi ma'am, for your valuable time and words. Thank you. And we hope you are going to be joining us our celebration on 25th. Definitely. Please share me with the link. I'll be. Yes, ma'am. We'll be on it.